Imagine this. You've been working so hard, setting goals, grinding day and night, doing everything success gurus tell you to do. But every time you start making progress, something inside you pulls the brakes. Suddenly, you're tired, burned out, or not ready yet. And deep down, you start wondering, am I just sabotaging myself? Here's the hard truth. It's not your work ethic, it's not your goals, it's not even your strategy, it's your identity. Because no matter how badly you want something, if the version of you holding the steering wheel isn't built for that level of success, your nervous system will slam on the brakes. Every single time. Think about it. Your brain has one job. Keep you alive, not successful, not fulfilled. Alive. And the easiest way it knows how to do that is by keeping things the same. Familiar equals safe. Even if familiar also equals miserable. That's why you've probably felt it before. That internal tug-of-war. One part of you dreams big, sets goals, makes vision boards. The other part, it's quietly whispering, who do you think you are? And you listen, you shrink, you self-sabotage, but here's what no one tells you. The moment you decide to change your life, you declare war on your old identity. And that old identity will fight like hell to survive. Let me give you an example. A friend of mine, let's call him David, was stuck making the same income for years. Every January he'd set a bigger goal. Every December he'd land in the same place. He told himself he needed better tactics, more motivation, maybe a new morning routine, but none of that was the real problem. The real problem, deep down, he still saw himself as the guy who gets by. Not the guy who thrives, not the guy who earns big, just the guy who survives. And because that was his identity, every time success came knocking, he found a way to sabotage it. Deals fell through. Opportunities got too complicated. He lost momentum the moment things started working. Sound familiar? See, you can't outperform your self-image for long. You can grind. You can hustle. You can even win for a while. But sooner or later, your nervous system drags you back to the version of you it recognizes. Why? Because to your brain, sameness equals safety. And success. Success feels unfamiliar. It feels dangerous. That's why people set goals year after year and stay the same. Not because they're lazy, not because they lack discipline, but because they never update the one thing running the entire show, their identity. So how do you change it? First, you have to understand something called the identity trap. It works like this. You've been living inside the same story for so long, you think it's reality. I'm the struggler. I'm the fixer. I'm the underdog. I'm the one who always burns out. And without realizing it, you start organizing your entire life to stay consistent with that story. The relationships you tolerate, the habits you keep, even the chaos you allow in. It's all a reflection of the person you believe yourself to be. So you set a goal to make more money, but deep down you still see yourself as broke. You start eating healthy, but deep down you still see yourself as the one who always quits. And no matter what you do, your actions can't outpace your identity for long. It's like flying with bricks in your backpack. And the crazy thing, that old identity doesn't even care if you're happy. It just wants you familiar, predictable, safe. That's why success feels uncomfortable. It threatens the old story, and the old story will fight like hell to survive. So here's the secret. Lasting change doesn't come from setting bigger goals. It comes from upgrading the story you're living in. Let me ask you something. What would change if you started acting like the version of you who already has what you want? Not someday. Now. Because here's what the science says. Your brain doesn't change because you believe something new. It changes when you give it enough proof that a new story is real. Psychologists call this Bayesian updating. Every time you act like the future version of yourself, you give your brain new data. At first, it feels fake, like you're just pretending. But if you keep going, eventually your brain accepts the new identity as normal. And here's the wild part. Once your identity shifts, the habits follow automatically. You don't have to force yourself to act like the new you. You just do. Because that's who you are now. Think about it like software. You can't keep installing bigger, better apps on an outdated operating system. At some point, you have to update the system itself. And identity is the system. But here's the part most people miss. Identity doesn't change in your head. It changes in your environment. Let me explain. You can start acting like the new you. You can stack small wins. You can build new habits. But if you're still surrounded by people who expect the old you, if you're still living in the same environment that reinforces the old story, if you're still drowning in the same distractions, that old identity will drag you back every single time. Because identity isn't just personal, it's relational. You become who you're around. If you're around people who normalize fear, you stay scared. If you're around people who expect greatness, you rise. So if you want to change your life, don't just change your goals. Change your environment. Create systems that make the new you unavoidable. Want to be a writer? Set up a space where writing happens automatically. Remove every distraction that competes with it. Want to be healthy? Fill your house with nothing but foods the future you eats. Want to be wealthy? Spend time with people who talk about building, creating, investing, not complaining about the economy. Because here's the truth. You don't get what you want. You get what you are. And what you are is reinforced by the story you live in, the environment around you, and the actions you repeat every single day. So here's my challenge for you. Stop waiting until you feel ready. Start acting like the person you say you want to be. Yes, it will feel uncomfortable. That's the point. Discomfort means the old identity is dying. Let it. Because the moment you stop negotiating with your old self, the moment you fully commit to the new story, everything changes. Not because you forced it, but because you finally became the person who can hold the success you've been chasing all along.